We've been fascinated by unsolved mysteries since long before the advent of the internet, but today's technology has given mystery buffs far more resources than they ever had in the days of Robert Stack. Users of the social aggregate website Reddit are particularly fond of putting their heads together to find the solutions to head-scratching puzzles. There's even an entire subreddit dubbed the Reddit Bureau of Investigation, where users can collaborate on unsolved crimes, mysteries, and generally freaky unexplained occurrences. Over the last few years, users have helped to solve some truly weird mysteries of the web, and today we'll be taking a look at the 10 weirdest. In July of 2011, a Reddit user with a long alphanumeric string for a name opened up a new subreddit and began posting large chunks of mysterious garbled text. It didn't take long for users to notice, and soon, hundreds if not thousands of Redditors were poring over posts that appeared to be massive code dumps in an attempt to find some sort of pattern. The poster, perhaps leery of all the attention, quickly shut the subreddit down, even deleting most of his old posts, which might have been the end of the story, except that unnoticed by all but a few stragglers, he reopened it and began posting again just a few days later. The Redditors who did notice continued poring over the new posts to no avail, until one with the screen name Fraglet did something that he said was basically fairly trivial and obvious for any experienced programmer. He decoded one of the posts, which he recognized as hexadecimal encoded data. Under 2 layers of encoding, he found the message, a picture of Stonehenge, rendered in ASCII art. Once the code was cracked, the mysterious poster, whose name users had shortened to EightFiveEight, took notice, sending encrypted messages to some Redditors, which proved just as tough to crack as any of his ciphers. But the whole thing wound to a close in 2015, when the poster conducted an encrypted AMA. Moderators quickly cracked the code being used, enabling users to ask questions. But the mysterious poster wasn't exactly forthcoming, saying we cannot disclose the purpose. EightFiveEight will end when its purpose is disclosed or discovered. Shortly afterward, the subreddit was permanently made private. Count this one as partially solved. Although many of the posts were cracked, revealing such scintillating payoffs as a gif of Sarah Palin, nobody is sure to this day what their purpose actually was. In 2014, YouTube users began taking notice of a very strange account with an insanely prolific posting schedule. Operating under the nonsensical name Webdriver Torso, the channel would post its videos as often as once per minute, and the videos themselves, usually 11 seconds long, were as bizarre and mysterious as the channel's name. Each video featured a series of strange tones accompanied by quickly changing images of random shapes in primary colors, and once the channel caught the attention of the web at large, the sleuths on the internet converged on it in no time flat. Speculation about what the video's purpose could be were all over the map, and usually fell squarely into conspiracy theory territory. Guesses range from a government recruitment program to encrypted communications between spies to messages from extraterrestrials. But many Redditors were quick to notice that the channel belonged to a network of accounts called YT Upload Test Partner _Torso, and they speculated that Webdriver Torso was an internal YouTube channel. Running with their theories, an Italian blogger tracked down several more linked accounts operated by YouTube and Google, to which similar videos were posted, and put forth the theory that the channel existed for quality control purposes. As it turns out, this was correct. YouTube, seemingly more than a little amused by all of the speculation around the channel, clarified that the uploaded videos were compared with the originals to determine how much picture and sound quality had been lost during the upload. In a statement, they said, "We're never going to give you uploading that's slow or loses video quality, and we're never going to let you down by playing YouTube in poor video quality. That's why we're always running tests like Webdriver Torso." In 2011, one Redditor posted an image that seemed to defy any explanation. It was of a block of wood carved into 4 sections, with a nail driven through the 2 middle sections in a way that appeared to be impossible to accomplish. The poster clarified that he had not done this himself. He had found the block while on a hiking excursion. It was all one solid piece, and he was at a complete loss to explain how it could have been done. Redditors of all stripes put their heads together, but were unable to crack the mystery, until one user posted a YouTube video showing exactly how the trick had been pulled off. After using a circular saw to cut the block into the desired shape, the user stood it on end for several hours in a shallow pot of boiling water, softening one of its ends. Then he used a vice grip to compress the newly pliable end down to about half its original height. A handheld drill was used to create holes in the middle 2 sections, into which a nail could simply be inserted by hand. Then the compressed end was soaked once again in boiling water until it regained its original shape. After being allowed to dry, the block was given a quick sanding, and voila! One mystery block with impossible nail, ready to be dropped in a random location to mess with the head of anyone who might find it. One huge sci-fi fan with the screen name R. Bradbury 1920 might have thought he found himself in one of his idol's weirder stories when he began finding mysterious Postit notes throughout his home. The notes, which he described as not being in his handwriting, appeared to have been left in the night by a mystery intruder who seemed to be able to enter and exit the poster's locked apartment at will, and almost always consisted of simple reminders of errands, chores, and tasks that needed to be done, and that the poster had not told anyone else about. The only explanation that he could arrive at was that his landlord, who held the only other key, was stalking him for some reason. But the Redditor who came up with the real solution not only saved the poster's sanity, but quite possibly his life as well. User Kakerlak suggested that the poster had written the notes himself, and that the strange handwriting and failure to remember writing them could be a result of low-level carbon monoxide poisoning. The poster quickly installed a tester, and found that his apartment did indeed contain levels of carbon monoxide that were dangerously excessive. As soon as the issue was remedied, the mystery notes stopped appearing, and the poster was able to avoid an awkward conversation with his landlord, not to mention possible death by carbon monoxide poisoning. In 1995, two fans of the Grateful Dead, the mother of all jam bands, were killed in a car crash in Virginia while following their favorite band on their current tour. The driver was immediately identified, but the passenger was another story. Using a brief note found on him, investigators were able to determine that his first name was Jason, but that was all. His injuries made him difficult to identify, and his description matched no reported missing persons cases. Users of Unsolved Mysteries site Web Sleuths examined the case for 10 years, but in 2005, Reddit came on board, and that's when the investigation started to really heat up. A subreddit dedicated to the case posted a computer-assisted sketch of the so-called Grateful Doe that was shared far and wide, with a special emphasis on Grateful Dead fan groups. Outlets such as BuzzFeed picked up the image, which was eventually seen by over 500,000 people. And in 2015, a pair of men claimed to have met Doe, whom they identified as Jason, and remembered that he was from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The story finally made its way to Margaretta Evans, whose 19-year-old son Jason Callahan had disappeared in 1995, and who had never filed a missing persons report for him, being unsure of where he had gone. One extremely belated missing persons report, and 11 months later, DNA testing revealed that Doe was indeed Callahan, bringing closure for a grieving mother, and a sense of pride to the dogged Redditors who helped solve the 20-year-old mystery. Redditor Tramstop Dan shared a post in 2013 about a mysterious box which a friend had found in the trash. In his post was a link to his Imgur account with 102 images detailing the contents of the box. And once you get a look, you'll know right away why it was dubbed the Box of Crazy. Inside were a number of documents which seemed to belong to somebody by the name of Daniel Christensen. Among a series of very strange doodles, such as a train with the head of a puma, there were also a number of illustrations, with notes which seemed to pertain to extraterrestrial visitation. Also present were a series of hand-drawn maps, each with a single pinhole in the middle, which seemed as if they were meant to be overlaid on top of one another. Designs for strange devices of unknown function, illustrations of spacefaring vehicles. With each image, the contents of the box just got weirder and weirder. Eventually, Reddit sleuths tracked down the enigmatic Christensen, who was an anonymous Danish immigrant to the US in the 1920s, and one user with the screen name Mikkel Vuarella was even able to locate and speak with one of the man's surviving nephews. The nephew, Elmer Arbov, said that in no way did he think his uncle had been crazy, but he had developed a fascination with UFOs, not to mention a strange religious philosophy based on the biblical book of Ezekiel. Mr. Arbov lamented that his uncle had had difficulty getting anyone to listen to his ideas while he had been alive, but expressed a measure of gratitude that 19 years after his death, the detectives of Reddit had taken such an interest in his work. One of the most bizarre and unsettling viral videos of all time hit the web in early 2015. It was sent anonymously to a Swedish tech blog, which posted it to YouTube, prompting a frenzy of speculation as to what it could possibly mean. Its title, 11BX1371, was taken from a text string scrawled on the anonymous DVD. And if watching it doesn't give you a serious case of the creeps, then you are made of sterner stuff than most. In the black and white video, an ominous hooded figure in what appears to be a plague doctor costume is seen standing in a dilapidated old building. Accompanied by a buzzing, discordant, and highly unnerving soundtrack, the figure makes a series of gestures, some involving a flashing light in its palm. The video uses jump cuts and video doubling to startling effect, and its foreboding quality and lack of a clear message had all of Reddit immediately looking for coded clues, of which they found plenty. Many of these were hidden in the clip's audio, which was run through a spectrograph by an intrepid Redditor to reveal a series of threatening plain text messages such as "You are already dead" and "Red lips like 10th," which is an anagram of "Kill the President." One Polish user was even able to track down the building where the video was shot. And as the internet came closer and closer to unraveling the entire mystery, the video's creator apparently decided the jig was up. Speaking to the Daily Dot, a man named Parker Warner Wright claimed to be the video's creator, saying that it was simply intended as an art project and nothing more. And to prove it, he posted a sequel a short time later, featuring the same custom-made Plague Doctor mask that had appeared in the original. A Redditor with the appropriate screen name of ShadyBusiness15 took to the site for advice after blowing a fuse in his extension cord. Upon taking the device apart, he found what appeared to be a SIM card, not a component one would ordinarily expect to find in an innocent extension cord. The Reddit Bureau of Investigation hopped on the case, and what they found was evidence of some very shady business indeed. One commenter linked to a photo of an identical SIM card which was for sale on Amazon, and noted that the device contained an onboard microphone. Another agreed, saying your extension cord is a room bug. Someone calls the phone number on that SIM and the extension cord auto-answers and listens to the room. Spooky. When the number on the device was called, there was simply a message stating, "The service is now closed. If you have voicemail, you can turn it on." Reddit sleuths were eventually able to track the device to manufacturer O2, with whom Shady Business created an account online, but upon requesting the SIM card's call log, he was told that he'd need a warrant. It's unknown whether he ever did so, but it's apparent that he was definitely being spied on. And despite his screen name, he insisted that he wasn't up to anything interesting. In 2012, a user with the screen name Delver of Secrets took to Reddit to relate a strange story. While on the subway, a homeless-looking man had approached him and slipped him a $50 bill, along with a small card containing a bizarre cipher. The man had disappeared before the poster could ask any questions, and he couldn't make heads or tails of the code, but Reddit could, and the message was deciphered within hours. It read, "There's plenty more money to make. Figure this out and prepare to meet July 19th, 56th and 6th. There's a hot dog stand outside Rue 57 Cafe. Ask for Mr. Input." Shortly afterward, Delver of Secrets updated his post to include a private message he had received from an anonymous user claiming to be Mr. Input himself. The message chastised Delver for enlisting the help of the internet to crack the code, and included a new cipher which Delver once again turned to Reddit to decipher. The encoded message said that since Delver had changed the rules, Mr. Input would now do the same, and change the date and location at which their meeting was to take place. Reddit's code crackers had done their job, but they would never have their curiosity satisfied. Delver of Secrets posted one final message saying that he had been receiving phone calls threatening his life and the lives of his family, and warning him not to show up at the prescribed time and place. He then deleted his Reddit account, leaving this mystery firmly in the category of partially solved. In 2012, message boards around the web reported strange posts featuring an image of a cicada and signed with the number 3301. The message contained in the post was as tantalizing as it was mysterious. "Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There is a message hidden in the image. Find it, and it will lead you on the road to finding us. We look forward to meeting the few who will make it all the way through. Good luck." This was the world's introduction to the Cicada 3301 puzzle, which may be an alternate reality game, a recruitment tool, or something else entirely. The puzzle recurs each year, requires a dizzying spectrum of knowledge to solve, and must be solved alone, as Redditors found out once they began unraveling the mystery's many layers. Cracking the code within the initial image led to a winding road of ciphers scattered throughout the internet in the form of mysterious URLs and Tor sites containing additional puzzles, and even the real world in the form of phone numbers and QR codes, which would yield additional information. Putting their heads together, Redditors were able to follow the seemingly impenetrable puzzles to the end, employing various users' knowledge of cryptography, steganography, and such strange and varied references as Mayan numerology, cyberpunk fiction, and many more, scattered across the realms of literary and artistic works, philosophy and religion, and mathematics. Unfortunately, at the end of the puzzle, on a website deep in the dark web, was a message expressing disappointment at those who had to share their knowledge to reach the end. Only one man, Swedish cybersecurity researcher Joel Eriksson, is known to have possessed the mind-boggling well of knowledge necessary to solve the puzzle on his own. And since he didn't discover the puzzle until months after it was first posted, he did it too late.